Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. And what a show I have for you today. We are gonna sit down and get some work done on Project Hydra, of course. But before I show you some Project Hydra, I should shill the latest episode of ELO Heaven with none other than James Bardolph, who is a top tier CSGO commentator you probably heard of if you follow CS esports. We talk all sorts of things, mostly about the way that Valve could actually do something to this game if they gave a shit, and some other stuff. So it's not really esports focused. It's not another one of those podcasts where you might enjoy it if you're less familiar, less engrossed in the game. We talk about some custom maps. We talk about problems plaguing player development and stuff. So maybe check it out if you're interested. Aside from that, let's talk about HYDRA and what we intend to do on this very stream. So I got a couple of things that I need to get off my chest here. I got a couple of things that we need to change about HYDRA. So one of the things that I want to essentially keep track of is how well any of my experiments have gone in general, how things are shaping up in that respect. And one of the things that keeps coming up, and I won't lie and say that it's been a large number of people who have been pointing this out. It really just has been Fagudo who's been bringing it to my attention. But it keeps coming up that the toggles of abilities tend to not be particularly useful. I'm of two minds of this. I'll say the toggles are differently implemented than it's not exactly a through line. I think it makes sense to toggle between certain behaviors depending on, the unit's fantasy, shall we say. But I will concede that a lot of the toggles that are currently still in the game, or at one point were in the game, well, especially the ones that were removed or reworked, kind of says it all that they were removed because I didn't like them and didn't think that they deserved didn't think that they did what they really should have done. Positively impacted the game state, shall we say. And the ones that are still in the game, generally speaking, they're not all that great, right? The Zoryustaleth, in the current public patch, has a toggle that was just changed over to a passive behavior. And I think that is, generally speaking, something that, well, on its face, feels like I automated an action. It feels like I automated an action that there isn't really a whole lot of skill associated with doing otherwise. You're basically, before, when it had energy, just deciding, okay, I'm going to spend the energy on this. And the only other thing you could spend energy on was a single ability that now also automatically procs at a certain HP threshold. So by removing the energy, we actually allow the unit to live up to its unit fantasy a bit more, while also still benefiting based on positioning, because that's what most of its abilities are really based around, right? The idea is that it's kind of slow moving. It has that protective instincts passive to let it move faster towards wounded organic allies. One of the things that I'll probably change is making it so that they're just wounded allies in general, full stop, instead of them being organic specifically, which will make it a little bit easier to proc, and thus I'll probably reduce some of the probably reduce the movement speed bonus, or maybe the range, so that it's not quite so difficult. And so the Zoryustaleth is obviously has been massively reworked in that respect. And I guess it's not actually been reworked in a sense that it's visible on the page, because it still references energy, specialist flag, so on and so forth. There we go. What's up, Bailiffo? Yeah, so I think reads are a pretty big part of making an ability satisfying to use and tying that ability in with its thematic. with the unit fantasy, as I keep referring to it as. My main issue with toggles in general, though, where they were implemented before, is that they're just not very interesting. Like the Zoryustaleth one drains energy while active and then spends energy for every corpse that you consume. But it's basically activating this autocast behavior. And if you remove the autocast and make it so that you have to hit the button every time you want to consume a corpse, then you start getting into a bit of a weird position where you're essentially just having button mashing as the main gameplay loop. I guess it might be a little bit different if it like fired a skill shot projectile that healed all units in an area when impacting a corpse or something. But that's obviously a really weird ability for a melee, support specialist, a frontline support specialist to have. So yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. The other two toggles that are still in the game that I would like to take a look at axing are the Wyvern and the Exemplar. Mostly because, for one, these units don't really seem... Well, okay. Here's the thing, right? We don't have a whole lot of issues with all of these units as they come in to be... Like, people aren't reporting that they're, like, too low power or anything. What happens is that these units generally aren't used very much, but we also haven't ran too many tests lately because we're obviously in between these large patches. So until we fix up some more issues, it's going to be you're hard pressed to find motivation to organize a game night. Whereas I think, assuming I can convince Veek to help me out with some last bug fixes that have been reported, like the Apostle issue, for example, and if I can successfully rework conceptually, at the very least, and hopefully also technically, the last couple of things that I wanted to rework, then we'll probably get into a pretty solid position for going, into the future, right? So I'll talk a little bit about that in a sec, about reworking some of the other units. But for now, I think conceptually, I think the biggest deal for us would be to take something like the Wyvern and remove the toggle reverse thrust and instead give it the ability to, like, you can keep the fire its weapon at target sight thing, although this also feels like kind of a weird experiment, I guess. And then its reverse thrust feature can simply be that we drop its handling slightly, like maybe its acceleration or something, and then we give it the ability to simply fire while moving, and we also drop its top speed, right? So it's not as mobile as something like a Gorgon, which would be a more everyman type, like general purpose spacecraft, which presumably I believe would also be, we'll say, it's not significantly cheaper. It is significantly cheaper because of the supply cost, but and the time cost. There's some additives there, but you would probably go for Gorgons, and especially since Wyverns don't attack air units, right? This does position Wyverns in a very bizarre manner, where they're essentially like, because of the AoE that they deal, you can imagine it being pretty different, I guess. Well, the Exemplar has this Kadar and Eclipse ability that also slows it pretty massively. It was meant to turn it into an artillery air unit. That, from a role distribution perspective, doesn't make any sense, because artillery is reserved mostly for like tier 3, basically. Like, you've got the Solarian as your artillery spacecraft, basically. The Empyrean is kind of like that too, but yeah, I guess the Empyrean would be like that. It would be an artillery type craft, but Exemplar being artillery doesn't really make as much sense, I don't think. So, yeah, these two definitely need to be revised. Wyverns would be airborne and would be able to basically they would behave as if reverse thrust was always active, and you just have to deal with the slower movement speed and slower acceleration or turn radius or whatever I decide to do in addition to that. And the idea is they can be overwhelmed on open terrain quite easily by ground units. And obviously, air units are still a very strong counter to them because they can't attack them patently. But with reverse thrust active in this way, I think it would allow them to be. I just feel like it would allow them to be more consistent and more intuitively used and fought with and fought against. Exemplars for their cost and position in the tech tree should probably not have this behavior whatsoever. And I think maybe instead we just give them AoE and have them maybe like plus 1 or 2 range. And I think that's it. That's probably all we need. Maybe we'd test with just AoE because they attack ground and air targets, and the AoE would deal against ground and air targets as well. So based on that alone, I think you would get into some pretty good positions with something like you'd basically use LAN effects for crowd control against air as your early sort of roster. You'd probably rely mostly on Auroras, and then you could choose to either go Panoptis into tier 2, or you could stick with Auroras into Exemplars for like your really big meaty damage amounts, because they do have quite a bit, like quite good damage in general. It says 20, but like the attack speed's faster than the Drakodin, for example, by actually a considerable margin, and it does AoE. So there's a lot there, I think, that would work out there. So we can take the Exemplar and essentially simplify the unit by way of removing any sort of passive entirely. And then for the Wyvern, we would actually just we would make reverse thrust always active, basically, tweak the resultant move speed, and then I would like to make it so that when you tag something with land grab, the Wyvern attacks that while moving as well. I don't think this currently happens when reverse thrust is active, so I will have to I can quickly test that, I guess. But well, apparently it just doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work while reverse thrust is active. That's just a bug. So yeah, definitely is not working the way that I would like it to. So basically, I would want to keep land grab. Part of me doesn't, because it's such a very specific behavior, like attacking ground. I don't know, man. That's an interesting one. I guess I could see an argument that anything with AoE should be able to target ground. Like phalanxes in siege mode, for example, should be able to bombard ground. So what I'll do is I'll probably rework this behavior entirely. So let's, like, conceptually, obviously. What we'll do is we will... I guess the other main issue, too, with this whole attacking ground thing is something that Alexander discovered when using ion cannons against the AI, in that AI obviously have no, like, threat recognition of danger zones, like zones on the map that are currently, like, under attack by some sort of persistent effect, like the ion field. They just walk right through it, like storm as well, etc. They also have no logic to, like... I don't think they have logic to see that there is a unit attack that is the source of this ion field or something like that. That might be incorrect. But, yeah. Okay. Anyway. That's not really a reason to not implement a behavior, obviously. But it's just something that that obviously does concern me a bit for griefing AI. But there's many ways you can grief the AI already, so it doesn't really make any sense. I guess we'll just say that. It's probably fine. Well, it was pretty devastating when you could position yourself over really far away terrain and start bombarding somebody's mineral line or whatever. But the current implementation, like basically, it was pretty toxic. I felt in those in those areas where I would definitely prefer it to not be quite so feast or famine, I suppose. All right, so obviously I also have to jump in here and find the wyvern reverse thrust. And we'll say wyverns can attack while moving. I don't actually know if YouTube will facilitate that, but yeah, go for it. Feel free to post the picture and I will see if I can click the link or if YouTube says no. Yeah, exactly. So basically, what I try to stress for artillery in general is that you do have less mobility, less flexibility, but if you can establish a front line and secure the artillery in the back line, then just like in a MOBA where you've got like your back line carry dealing a bunch of damage to the enemy's front line or whatever, um, that will facilitate the best possible success rate. So my mental projection of what you would use the wyvern, I mean the exemplar for, is that you would activate them, maybe like half of your exemplars, or depending on the rest of your composition, all of your exemplars would be activated, and they would begin to bombard and with a slow crawl towards the enemy base or in a specific engagement, and then you'd have to deactivate them and start moving them around if they started to get closed in on. Right, that's kind of the main idea. Uh, there you go. Maybe he can understand me better in text. The post office. All right, where was I going with this? Oh, I was trying to find the exemplar. Here we go. So What's up, James? Welcome to the show, homie. We are nearly done revising some concepts for the Wyvern and the Exemplar. All right, so to be clear, I'll actually document my intended changes here. I can't remember if the Wyvern was implemented in here or not. Doesn't look like it. So now I've got to go and find the sprite stat. Well, I've never actually seen it try to Balethal, but I suppose it's too late for that one. The Warcraft 3 campaign is pretty terrible. Oh, this top speed is pretty fucking tiny. Is this true? Is it really that much slower already? Oh yeah, it is already pretty slow, TBH. Okay. So we'll say... yeah, well, maybe we'll say 8. Before it was 1280. Now I have to do some math. 1280, or 853 is what percent of 1280? Here we go. No. 853 is 20% of 1280. That doesn't seem right. Oh, so it would be a 33.36. We'll just say 33% decrease. Sure. I guess you can email me. Yeah, the Warcraft 3 campaign was a disaster. I have an old playthrough that unfortunately I said too many cancelable things, so I had to take down. At some point, I've been thinking that just because, unfortunately, as I've become a bit more a bit more mature, I don't know. As I've grown as a content creator, I do feel like maybe I should go through and do a playthrough of everything that has since been fucking deleted. At least as it pertains to like lard RTS. I'm not replaying Red Alert 3, even though that was a cancelable LP. Fuck that. What's up, Red Death? I am conceptually editing some units. I will technically edit them later. But this is my total conversion for Starcraft 1, where we've changed basically everything. Okay, yeah, so it should go right above the didact. We've even changed the fucking names of units. That's how much we've changed. Custom brain tester. Do you register a new Twitch account every time? Every time there's a new memorable. That's funny. You enjoyed the StarCraft 2 trilogy as an action RPG. That is a mess. Total name conversion. I personally enjoy the name Red Death. I think you know that, like they say, the only good commie is a dead commie. I think it would be okay. So it would be possible, but I would have to talk to iQuare about that. The main issue is that you would think that would mean you would have to strafe with it, which is like very different behavior than every air unit, including the Steward, the Solarian Steward, because the Steward isn't actually controllable. So even though it's sort of strafing, it's not really in a very precisely controllable way. All right, let's take a look at your email, Ilya. What do we got here? Your buildings for a new race. What do we got here? How do I download this image? There we go. So have you actually made these graphics? Do these exist? Are these real? Or did you just make them for... Because these are interesting looking kit bashes, I won't lie. Some of them are a bit noisy, but... I have seen a lot of kit bashes, and I don't exactly mind these. I like the idea that the worker is just a civilian. That's pretty funny. This guy's got like a... Oh, I guess he's holding a grenade launcher. Maybe this is just concept art. Look at the gun truck. Dude, he's got a little fucking... Oops. Sudden frog. Forgot about that. Glad that image is on my desktop. This looks like a doodad from Space Platform. At least you have team color besides the reactor. There's no team color on this. But you have team color on most things, which is nice. You'd be surprised how many mods don't have team color on their buildings. Okay. Red Alert 3 co-op with Necron was... I think the problem there is that it would have spoiled me to all of the epic meme anime nonsense that I had to suffer through. Also, there was a point where he told me that there was... there was some line where he said that when I was reaching the micro campaign that there were no more micro missions, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Okay, back to what I was doing. Exemplar. We are giving the Exemplar splash damage. Let's take a look at the weapon. Oh yeah, and the other thing is I have to say HYDRA Eclipse removed. Okay. And then what? Now. I still want to rework splash radius entirely, like the way that it works. It's pretty lame that there's these like arbitrary and impossible to read breakpoints. Definitely not a massive fan of that. So I guess specifically we can actually copy the Wyvern area of effect radii. I don't know why it's 40 on the outer bound. That should probably be changed. If that's even true, let me confirm that in the game files. Okay. Now, let's see. Splash radius now 12, 24, 36 from 0, 0, 0. In keeping with the Wyvern changes, this is an attempt to cement the exemplar's role, remove a disinteresting toggle, and improve general gameplay consistency. Let's go to the Wyvern in here, and yeah, it is indeed slightly wider for no reason. This is a pretty massive patch, to be honest. Okay. What's up, Patrick? How you been, dude? Things are going well, hopefully. When Dynamo says, think about all the women who have been spared playing StarCraft 2. They're the lucky ones. That's a good message. I'll react okay, hand. Okay, dad. Why did I choose to mod StarCraft 1? I've played this game since it came out. I was 4 years old at the time. And I was always dissatisfied with how bad the original single player campaigns were. And eventually I got into modding just by virtue of trying to make something better, add some new units, try to be ambitious. None of my old work is any good, but, I learned a lot from it. And as part of, as a general rule, despite that StarCraft, the experience of playing single player is so bad, it's still the best RTS. It just happens to be a bad game, like in an objective sense, but relative to its peers, it's the best. So it's a combination of like me generally having dissatisfaction with the way that the game has played out, and you combine that with the desire to make something better because I basically just want to play a good RTS, and I haven't played one yet, and I played a lot of RTS games. So kind of leaves it up to me. I have to be the change that I want to see in the world. And while I can't promise that I will deliver on these lofty goals of producing a high quality RTS game, I will certainly be trying. And a mod is a nice step in that direction while we wait for the engine to come to life, which we're working on a custom engine for it, because another thing we found out is that every engine out there is either not suited for RTS or terrible, and usually both. So that's unfortunate that we don't have like an existing example to base our work off of. So we have to learn how to do everything from the ground up, which is unfortunate, but Although Patrick here in the chat, Patrick, with a 7 at the end, He is responsible for a pretty massive total conversion of another RTS RPG hybrid game, which is called Warlords Battlecry, and he's modded the third game into the Protectors mod. So if you fancy yourself more interested in that kind of stuff, you might check out his stuff. It's not a genre that particularly speaks to me personally, but it's clearly something that took a lot of time and has a concerted effort behind it to properly change things. And the other thing that obviously is included there is that he had, and he can correct me if I'm wrong about the details here, but I'm pretty sure he got source access as a result of like signing some NDA or something. And while I'm not too keen on signing NDAs, if I had fucking source access, my life would be so much easier. So just saying, just saying. Pretty nice that he was able to make something happen with the tools at his disposal there. Yeah, they'll never give away source code. We almost had it, bro. And then that guy decided to give it back to Blizzard, and all they did was give him Overwatch. And I think like BlizzCon tickets or something. Maybe a steak dinner. Well, I think the mechanics in Red Alert are kind of contrary to actual RTS gameplay, where they have the whole global, like, deploy some powers here or whatever, like bombing runs and stuff, and the super weapons and whatnot. There's a lot of gimmicks in those games. I do like that there's a pretty large scale generally. Like, there's no supply limit. There's no, yeah, there's nothing really like that. I still am not actually 100% convinced that you should even have supply in a game, in an RTS. It's another way to balance, it's another resource, but the larger scale your project gets, the more different, I suppose, some of the like you start to interact a little bit differently with supply structures and stuff, where you basically are in a position where you kind of have to like you have to expand and build more and more supply structures. If those go up in flames, you are in a really tough position where you're not able to remax your army or anything. So I would ransom it for Bitcoin. Yeah. Well, you probably also would have actually kept a copy of it somewhere. Uh, so yeah, that supply thing is an interesting design topic unto itself. All right, I am going to make some changes in weapons stat now. We'll take exemplar 1236. Wait, 1236. Oh, you know what? It says here that the exemplar can only attack ground units, but on the website it says air. I'm actually fine with that personally, but I just need to know which one is correct. Yeah, okay. Fine. All right, we'll just fix that on the website then. Okay. Revise exemplar and wyvern. Oh yeah, and then I need to sign into the cPanel. Why is ripcord so terrible? All right, we're in, homies. What is this? Get it out of here. I was also thinking at some point I should probably migrate some of my Brood War guides and stuff over to the website and jettison Wikidot for good. Okay. So now let's target the Apostle. The Apostle is going to have some changes associated with it. I think first of all, so one of the main things that I'm going to be doing with this patch, with today's work on the mod, is I'm going to be removing these organic, mechanical, robotic, flag-specific behaviors. So, for example, we're going to have clerics, aka medics, before the rename. They're going to be able to heal, repair mechanical targets as well. Shamans will be able to heal both at the same time, and will rework their toggle into probably another behavior that enchants units, like gives them some additional benefit instead of healing. So maybe you'll toggle between like dispensing some sort of movement speed increase or something, as an example, or maybe it'll be armor. I don't know. We'll figure out what we want to do if we even want to do anything at all. Maybe it's enough to just heal everything at the same time. The Apostle's a bit of a different beast. What's up, K Cosby? No idea if I said your name correctly, but welcome. Yes. The Starcraft being a Warhammer game originally is pretty funny, because obviously Games Workshop must feel really dumb about how successful Starcraft was compared to any of their games. But I don't know, they're probably still swimming in money from the ridiculously expensive figures that people keep buying. So the main thing I need to update actually is Blood Tithe. I think Lazarus Agent is fine. Reincarnating or reassembling mechanical targets within it's a small radius. It's obviously only 100 energy. Maybe it should be more. What's up, Kyle? And then the other stuff is obviously like with Blood Tithe being here as a something that's like only working to heal organic units and only works when you attack an organic target, that's massively going to change. So the percentage needs to change, and I think it should probably just be a flat rate of like 5 health to nearby targets, which is mostly a nerf. But the fact that it heals organic and mechanical is going to be a massive boon in general. And then it also kind of more healthily scales with the number of apostles you have attacking. So I think we'll play around with a value of 5, and then we'll obviously just change that as time goes on. So let's document the changes that we're going to make, and then we'll actually go ahead and make them to the extent that we are capable of course. Some of these will hit the back burner. So we'll say Lazarus agent. And then, of course, we have to consider, like, stats, costs, how much more impactful is this unit all of a sudden with these changes, and what needs to be rebalanced. Because what this accomplishes, obviously, is making support specialists work for pretty much any composition. Obviously, you can imagine how impactful it would be to drop some Lazarus agent injections onto something like a Phobos, like literally like a flagship or something, which obviously becomes very different than just doing it for some Marines or Mavericks now. So, I'm still not 100% sure that this is the right way to make these units work, but I'm going to experiment with dropping all pretense, removing any limitation of the organic flag or mechanical flag or robotic flag. We're just going to see how that shapes up. Obviously, this affects robotic Protoss as well, remember. So, more things to keep in mind. So, Blood Tithe. And then, Last Breath, obviously, instead of Allied Organic, it would be Allied Unit. I'm not really 100% sure if this... it still ties into the behavior and stuff, so I still think it's probably fine. But plus 5 energy, maybe that stays, but the range decreases. Not 100% sure. Maybe I keep it the same, and as Balethal suggests, just increase the energy cost of the main ability so that it's a bit harder to, like, basically it's at 100, it's okay to train the unit, and then by the time it gets to a faraway destination from a rally point or something, it probably has enough energy to cast the ability. If I raise it to 125, especially 150, which is probably the highest I would be comfortable raising it, actually, at least for the first test, I would suspect that this means you absolutely must use the unit in combat before it can realistically cast the ability. Or you have to train them super far in advance. And I don't really want to lock the behavior behind like a massive energy gate. But we'll see. And the other thing, too, is that the whole 50% HP is another scaling factor that wildly makes things different. So, yeah, we're going to need some interesting... there's going to be some interesting things that come from this. That's all I'll say. And maybe some new bugs as well to fix. The unit's already 150 gas, though, and pretty, like, shall we say, fragile. So, I don't really know if anything else needs to be changed. I guess you could make an argument for raising its time cost or something. Nah, unit veterancy is pretty bad for consistency. So you get into a position where, like, you don't actually know how powerful a unit really is. At a glance, you have to like click on them to see veterancy, and then you have to learn what each veterancy level means for each unit. So the amount of information that you need to process before making a decision about how successful you probably will be in an engagement, it's pretty tough. A lot to try to take in. So yeah, I would not recommend unit veterancy. Is modding hard? Depends on what you want to do, but also depends on the game. For Brood War, it's a bit tougher than other games, insofar as in order to do anything, you probably need some knowledge of programming, or you have to be willing to learn. But I think in order to do anything good to a high level of quality, you need to be willing to improve and learn new skills. And modding is like the ultimate test of how many hats can you wear, so to speak. The analogy being the more hats you're wearing, essentially the more jobs you're doing. So I'm when I work on a mod, I'm doing programming, I'm doing voice acting, I'm doing writing, I'm doing, obviously game design. I'm doing a bunch of other shit, level design for when I'm making a map or something. So yeah, I'm doing so many different things when I'm working on a mod. So I'm comfortable with that. A lot of people essentially need to, obviously I have my strengths and weaknesses. I'm not as good of a programmer as I am a voice actor or level designer or whatever the case may be. Like programming is probably one of my weakest suits alongside maybe graphic design. That being said, I still do a little bit of everything, and I've got my preferences, and I've got what I'm best at, and then I try to improve on what I'm not so good at. So just take some time, but it's a journey. It's about more than just being able to make something easily, I think. Okay. All right, that's fair enough. Don't think there's anything else we need to worry about. Yeah, that should be pretty solid. So now it's just the robotic Protoss that need to be refactored. I will say, let's go through the Terran Apostle passive 1. So we'll say that's the other part of Blood Tithe that I forgot to document. Now heals for 5 HP and 10% of targets max HP. Okay. So we've done that. And then the cost is obviously 150 now. Okay. And now we go into the Shaman and remove the Medstims passive. Okay. Revise Shaman. cleric, apostle. And obviously we need to change the tooltips as well. Okay. And then we do last breath. And blood tithe. Oh, it's like heal. I think. Here it is. Oh, there is no tooltip. Classic. There you go. Okay. I think that does everything. Oh yeah, reverse thrust needs to be swapped over to. Let's move this exemplar. Okay. Okay, that should be everything there. I kind of like the idea of somebody saying like, actually, this works fine because of something else that is also stupid. Yeah, that's kind of like the boilerplate approach, though. People just find ways to like make something be as dumb as possible, more or less. Stacked dumb. Where are we at here? Oh wait, I'm still in here with this file. Let's go to tech data. Lazarus agent is obviously 150. And we need to open up the exe and remove the buttons for... Well, we have to change the buttons for reverse thrust. Wyvern. I still have the sentry turret, which is pretty funny. So what is this anyway? This is spell researched 34, and then it's just cancel, isn't it? Okay. Okay, and then exemplar. Just set this guy to basic commands. And then there was something else that I wanted to take a look at, which was... oh, the shaman needs to be revised. Shaman. I guess shaman stuff is handled through... Oh, no. So what it is we have to somehow set the... yeah, so we have to set the default state to nanite field, and then just axe medstims entirely. And this will just be a passive at that point, which is also fine. I'm not 100% sure how to make sure that that works, though, so I'll hold off on that for now. Let's find button sets. Yeah, I don't think the maybe the Trojan does have that somewhere. You go. This is Terran Wyvern. This is called Wyvern. Reverse thrust passive. Is on. Okay, build that. What the fuck? Going woke. Yeah, I agree. Did someone post my stream to a Minecraft subreddit or something? What's going on here? Okay. Oh. I have to do the same shit here, of course. I don't really see how that would be very useful. I think what you would want is you would just want to remove supply interactions altogether, and maybe instead you could have some sort of utility structure that increases, that's basically like the Crucible, where it increases performance of the structure, but it would cost like maybe 2/3 of the resources for another production structure, but less build space. I don't know. There's some trade-off you could do there. What else do we got here? Obviously, for the changes that we've made, I think in medic orders, it should be easy enough to add in the cleric changes. Let's see if that was all I needed to do. That would be pretty impressive. I did have a really old concept for power where structures would run at decreased efficiencies if they had less than a certain number of pylons near them. But in practice, obviously, that wouldn't really work out too well because of build space requirements. It was things like actual production structures and tech structures and shit. I still think that unpowered tech structures should not provide their tech requirement. I believe that, but yeah. Where my clerics at, homie? Hell yeah. Dude, imagine you rocking up with like 2 clerics and fucking a bunch of tanks or something. So that works. That was easy enough. Let's find... I know there's some Lazarus Agent stuff in here, but... Oh, this is the Shaman stuff. Alright, so this is where we... delete this entirely. I don't know why it's throwing an error like about that, since it builds fine despite that. So but yeah, I think the Lazarus Agent stuff for finding targets is not in here. Oh, here it is, actually only organic. Okay. Never mind then. I don't know why we have another organic check here. See if we can find any other organic checks. Oh. It's weird. Did I decide on a replacement heal for the Zaristhaleth? I don't remember. Doesn't look like it because it's 5% of their max life. So I think maybe it should just be 5. I guess we'll just say Zaristhaleth Restitution Healing. And in unit constants, all right. Oops. Doesn't look like there's any other organic flags in here, so cool. All right. Nothing else in here. Where is, I guess I should find Blood Tithe. It's probably in a comment somewhere. There we go. Ah, and weapon damage, of course. Okay. Where is Zorius Thilith in here anyway? Okay. To do Ikeware consultation, a classic. So we've just implemented the fixes for Nathricor, for Zorius Thilith, for Apostle. Oh, the Blood Tithe thing is also here, right? Because the heal should be... Okay. Man, this fucking Discord. I never fail to have a hearty chuckle. All right, Red Death, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Good luck on your studies. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? I have to re-word some of this stuff. Might just have to remove protective instincts, to be honest, and then rework it to just give them more base movement speed, to be honest. Because there's not really a whole lot gained by the movement. It actually would just be wildly, like, dumb, I think. Okay. Okay. Should be good there as well. And then there's also the... Let's delete this for now. Oops. What did I just remove anyway? Obviously here, I need to open up these again. Renal Frenzy. Let's gain... this is Swarming Omen. Okay. All right. Okay. And then what else do we have? I feel like we changed some more shit, but to be honest, it is hard to remember. There's that. So use the left stuff taken care of. I took care of the Apostles stuff. But did I denote the changed Apostle? Yeah, 5 HP, okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll pull that. Oh, I forgot I still had this open. Pranked. Okay. Pretty exciting. We definitely implemented that stuff. I'll build this latest plugin. And we'll test Nathracors, Zoryusthaleths, Apostles, and Shaman. Okay, so basically Nathracors should say Mutalisk 1, spawn Wraith 1. Yeah, it seems to have worked. Tooltip it didn't get updated yet, but that's fine. I think maybe in unit speed somewhere the Swarming Omen is still not. It's going pretty well. Changed a bunch of stuff, made some progress. Feels like Swarming Omen was reset. Oh, maybe it is still working. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, definitely. It's just 125 instead. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Cool. All right, so that's good. Now we have to do the apostle. Check the apostle out. I like that he respawns in his own shit too. his own damaging field. It's pretty good. All right. Seems to be working then. Yeah, so then we can just convert this button into a passive button and then add a button set rule, and we're good for the shaman. Change this to shaman nanite field passive. This is restoration shaman. So 34 0 cancel. And this is 366. Let me just make sure that that's the case. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm pretty happy with how this shit has turned out. I'll tell you that much. A little bit of trepidation. Not 100% sure it will work out the way that we want it to, but it's certainly possible. Okay. I moused over this really quickly, and I thought there was a crow icon up here, but it's just a person. Unfortunately, his head has not turned into a crow. But there's time for that yet. Where was I going to go next? What was I going to do next? We already tested clerics. Oh, I didn't actually kill my my units there with the apostles, so we'll have to try that. Let me just see if the changes worked for the shaman. Where you at, homie? Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything, so then I just have to change the string, which is easy enough. And where is my junk? This is shamans. Heal all allies within 3 range. Yada yada yada. Okay. Convert that. Now, yeah, I was going to do this. Oh, well, we did sort of test it. We tested it with the Aspirant, right? So, but we didn't test it with a Phobos. Hell yeah. Now, I think Last Breath needs to be changed in gameplay. I believe that would be in Unit Destructor Special, so we'll check that out. Yeah, here. Well, I found it. So I'll just delete that. Easy enough. So Apostle, Last Breath, Energy. Game. And then in Unit Constants. Yes, fearful emoji indeed. All right, so Last Breath should be working now, which obviously gives us pretty good stuff there. Well, the Shaman isn't healing on an attack. And they're both pretty vulnerable anyway, so I don't really see much value in that. Just adds a lot more inconsistency. I guess I have to go into the cleric actually, and the cleric's healing is essentially an attack, I suppose, but really it should just not be a gimmick, and it should be balanced differently. I think the unit should probably be a bit slower than the average infantry. Well, I don't know. I don't even think that would change it now, because you can heal like tanks and stuff with it, so it doesn't really matter as much. Right? Like we can do something like that didn't quite work out very well because I'm not very good at microing, but that's okay. There you go. Neither is the AI. See you, nerd? It's kind of unfair because they all attacked at the same time, but that's that's pretty fucking weird to experience. That's a weird thing to witness right there. Clerics healing fucking tanks. Bizarre. I'm sure there are other things that only affect organic or mechanical, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I know the robotic stuff we still have to figure out. But I mean, that's not really that much of a challenge, is it? It's literally just I think it's actually the only robotic specific stuff is just Vassal and Manifold, I think. Unless no, Barguests just stack with each other. So in again in Unit Destructor Special, Terminal Surge. Oh, it's right here. Terminal Surge. And then I guess this would be in unit speed as well. Manifold. This feels like a pretty lame passive in general, to be honest. I think I'll probably just remove this and increase their speed in general. Doesn't really make any sense. So just get rid of that entirely. I went through a brief phase where I added a bunch of units and then I wanted them all to have like behaviors or whatever, but I don't really think that's necessary here. I don't think the manifold is really widely used, but that's something that I can deal with irrespective of. Behaviors or whatever. See you later, bro. Enjoy the aftermath of your shower. Thanks for tuning in and saying hi. Sure we'll see you again. Big kisses. Is there anything else that's... Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that's like robotic only. Oh, well, I guess Terminal Surge was in here, yeah. Terminal Surge. Okay, it's just sending me backwards now. So that was it then. All right, and then... okay. So... remove robotic restriction on terminal surge. Remove manifold phase rush. All right. And then in the Protoss ability section, this bonus caps. Fucking lame. I don't know what this is doing here. I have no idea what's happening over here. What the fuck? So the stacks should be 5%, which is that, yeah. So 5. Okay. I don't know what this is going on though. Why would it be multiplying this? I'll ask Veek about that. Meanwhile, okay. It looks like there's no safety check here for the stack behavior. That might be why. Not sure. I don't know what's going on here either. All right, so the attack speed stuff needs to be revised, and I'm not really 100% sure how to do that one. Because cooldown is not nearly as intuitive as speed, for me at least. Okay. I did something else for I wrote some other stack removal thing, but I don't remember how I worded it exactly. There you go. A cap of 10. There you go. It's right above me the whole time. All right. Not really sure if there's anything else that I did. Oh yeah, and then there's also remove toggles from Wyvern Exemplar. Okay. I think that's a pretty solid bit of work done. I would have liked to finish revising the terminal surge stuff, but whatever. Let's search for mechanical. Here we go. I know that there's repair restrictions for mechanical targets, so what is this? Orders repair. Ah, yeah, here the parasite used to stop repair. Yeah, okay, so the lobotomy mine as well is probably going to need to change, I would say. Oh, this was just outright removed, so we can delete that. Okay. Am I just missing Mason somehow? Yeah, doesn't look like it's here. Maybe it's just called repair. Yeah, that's what it is. I think the idea here was it wasn't just going to be for the Mason. I think that's probably why it's called that. In which case, it should probably be called like Terran Repair, like the rest of them. And then Automedicus from the Wendigo. Okay, and then The other thing was in... Oh yeah, lobotomy mine. Okay. I don't know what the fuck this is going on here. What is going on? There's a ton of junk here. Okay. Makes the code so unreadable when they do this dumb gimmick. I can't escape gimmicks even in programming. I guess there's bigger problems in terms of readability here. Okay. Here we go. This is what I was actually looking for, but of course... Oh, never mind. I guess it checks for the flags later. That's unfortunate, because I thought I was going to be doing something other than simply refactoring, but this is also fine. In case we ever need to come back here, we'll be that much better off. Can't believe they limited kill counts to 255. What a lard thing to do. Not that you'll realistically ever get there in HYDRA, but just doesn't make any sense, does it? I guess it could happen too. Like, I think we've already fixed this, but ghosts don't normally get the credit for nuclear strike kills. I think we've resolved that a while back. It was something Ichor wanted to do. The idea that like you could very easily get something stacking up like that. So could happen. Depends on how many AI you're nuking, I guess. Okay, that's that. Oh, I just found it, I think. Oh, no, this is speed, so we can get rid of this. We can only hope. But I think it has to come from complete, like, other people, basically. Somewhere outside of the industry specifically. Most people just follow the leaders, so to speak. So it's actually quite easy, believe it or not, to get people to do something different than what they're used to. You just have to actually do it. Like, you have to show that it can work, and then they'll just cargo cult something better. But obviously that's not exactly what you want. Don't know why they have stupid shit like that. But yeah, I'm not like massively I don't massively feel like there's a strong chance or whatever, but I do see the path to it, which is just you just have to, like, pave the way somehow. If you can do that, then you're probably good to go. Destroyed ammo. I don't know what the fuck happened over here. Some plastic shit. It actually looks pretty similar to Starcraft 2 models. Don't know why it's like that. All right, I think we've done our due diligence here so far. I don't really know if there's much left. I have to figure out how to, well, I guess I'll build my latest changes and we'll see if that's resolved everything. So that should fix Automedicus, repair, although I think Automedicus attacking shields is still not fixed. Automedicus. Although maybe the HP component was removed and refactored in the latest changes to weapon damage. I guess we'll find out by spawning Indigo. Yeah, seems to be fine. Yeah, what's up, Kian? It's a pretty sad state of affairs. I mean, to be honest, like pretty much any gaming experience can be worthwhile if you're doing it with friends. So that's like something that you should probably value above anything else, in my opinion, is like having a good time with friends. But if you could find a way to do that without supporting scumfuck companies, then that would be ideal. The merger of both worlds. It's just, you know, like you got to pick your battles in life, obviously. So I would never like incentivize somebody to fuck off and become a hermit socially or whatever. Interesting. So repair still doesn't work on organics. Oh, hopefully that went well. Speaking of connecting and being epic. Well, I've just gone through attempting to remove all all restrictions on robotic, organic, and mechanical stuff. So far, I got to get Veek to help me revise the terminal surge passive for the Vassal because the attack speed calculation is a bit weird to me. And I also have to double check that lobotomy mines and Maelstrom work correctly, where they are supposed to just stun everything. As you can see, they don't stun manifolds. So they don't stun mechanical units just yet. But that's okay, I suppose. I'll figure that out later. And then the other one was obviously Eidolon. There we go. Lobotomized. It's just that the duration of the effect is a bit much right now, so I have to figure out what's applying the timer. So let me pop this back open. We'll say lobotomy mine timer, Maelstrom mechanical, and then terminal surge attack speed. I think that's everything that needs to be. Oh yeah, and then Mason repair organic. There you go. That, my friends, is a successful mod stream. Just go ahead and factor. Okay, pretty cool stuff. I will take it. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right. I'll take a bit of a longer break than usual, and when I come back, I will be working on my map some more. So there is that to look forward to. I'll say maybe 5-10 minutes ish. So nothing crazy, just not not as quick as normal. So yeah, BRB anyway. What's going on over here? We got you and you. Well, I'm still getting food, so enjoy waiting. We are back in it, boys. And of course, it is lunchtime slash Dinner time? Question mark. So here you go. Got a couple of U's, got a couple of N's. So what's been going on anyway? Mr. Men, what has transpired in my absence? I just spent most of the last 2.5 hours working on removing specific interactions, so organic, mechanical, robotic, and just making it so that they all behave the same way with the same units. We still have a couple of things that didn't make the cut just yet, which are the Mind Tyrant. Maelstrom needs to affect mechanical targets, needs to stun them. There's Mason's repairing organic targets does not work right now. Although that's probably something I can fix in GPTP. I could probably find something related to that. And then there's the Eidolon lobotomy mine timer needs to be updated, but it currently works fine for everything. I also don't know which tooltip is being referenced by Fagudo, but I'll have to take a look. Hold on. Oh yeah, it says it down here. This is hard coded. That's why it's also broken and just a blank box. So that's not actually something we can change just yet, I don't think. I can ask iCore about that though. I'll say plus weapon icon. There's nothing good on that I could watch while I eat and turn into a reaction channel temporarily. You actually. It sounds like you might simply be under-caffeinated, homie. Is there a repair order by any chance? Here it is. But there's no reference to mechanical. This is stupid. Well, I don't know. There's got to be some other thing that's being checked when... for the order, but I don't know what it would be. Oops. Reasonable. Imagine watching anime on stream. Wouldn't that just get me banned anyway? Not even worth it. If I'm gonna get banned, it has to be for an actual reason. Not I watched anime. The most shameful reason to be banned. I don't know why I put this up here. What a lunatic. Well, your suggestion is just a gimmick on the existing supply system, so I wouldn't really feel comfortable implementing it, especially since it's not transferable for others. I don't know why this was indented this way. Okay. A bit more reasonable. But yeah, I don't really think that there is another reason to dislike supply per se. I do think that it is another way to balance. It's like another layer. I think it does a lot of things right. I was just thinking out loud about how like the drawback in the late game of suddenly being outsupplied would need to be worked around at the very least, which would probably come from a perspective of so there's two things that are made difficult. One is you would essentially have to create extra things like essentially what the Ovaleth morphs are, where you have increased supply per unit or per structure, like so a higher tier supply structure, basically. The problem for actual structures, of course, is that um, when they're built, they can't be like paved over or whatever or upgraded in that sense. And it would be kind of gimmicky to make it so that specifically supply structures could be upgraded in this way. So I would think something like maybe the like bigger than a depot but provides more than 2x the supply cost and is more expensive, that would actually make a bit of sense as like a tier 2 structure. Maybe we could even have something like the treasury, which I don't think it currently provides supply. I will verify that real quick, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. So like this would be something that maybe I could actually see adding that for Terrans at least. Or if I did like supply provided and I gave it like the same as a depot or something. I'm not suggesting that I would do this right now because I don't actually know how much this would. It wouldn't really make that much of a difference, let's be honest. But that would be like one example of things like you want to provide supply with some of these structures. I don't know. It just feels like to me, if you don't if you don't address the supply issue, which also has its built-in build space issue and like base scalability issue, then it does become very untenable in the late game or mid game, I guess. Oh, okay. This was unrelated then. Ho 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 ho! You. I had a an accidental frog earlier, DF. You missed it. So I still have no real idea why repair is not working for organic units. I don't think Mark is a frog. Unless you're trying to tell me that you're trying to tell me that your favorite pet frog's name is Mark, then that makes sense. Okay, so we've refactored this. We've removed the checks to make sure that the... I don't know what the fuck this does. We removed the checks to make sure it's mechanical. We removed the checks to make sure that it's that it's Terran. And then we can... I guess we can take a look for... Yeah. We don't have any repair things here, so I don't really see why there would be any conflicts. I don't think I ever said anything about that guy. Maybe I did call him Mark. I don't know. That was a fucking long time ago. Fucking, that was actually the origin of the frogs, I think. That might, well, not really necessarily the origin, but one of the main reasons why frogs became a bit, I think, in this community, because that happened. I was doing a stream walk, a walk to the store, live streamed on my phone, and I picked up a frog, and it just urinated in my hand. I guess I too would piss myself if fucking frogs. If I got picked up by a giant. Or if I just were a frog in general, I guess. I don't know. Alright. Not quite what I wanted there. Interesting. So I guess that's just not fully hooked then, yeah. Noise of frogs. Yeah, I'm trying to implement men repair. It's just not working. Very unfortunate. Gotta document the last of the fucking fixes. Hold on. The flag changes. If I know what you mean. You can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want with the units fantasy, to be honest. My thinking is that it would just be like some sort of nano repair type thing, which we already use with for the shaman conceptually. Um, I guess time travel or something like that could also be kind of interesting. The the stuff I'm hinting at is uh, it's related to how the overall behavior essentially doesn't restore somebody's consciousness fully, but will bring their form intact, back intact. So that's sort of why it's like, you know, I kind of hint at that with the unit responses, at least. That's actually what's going on, is that you are almost zombifying your men. But I wouldn't be like opposed to that idea anyway. I think it's like the time travel idea. It's an interesting one, and it obviously definitely anytime you mess around with time travel in sci-fi, you are 100% soft sci-fi, if that makes any sense. Like, good luck actually coming up with something that wouldn't trigger somebody logically or whatever. But yeah, I don't mind. I think it would just make the ability mostly useless if they had the same stats as a second ago. Or 1 second before they died. I guess I could see it working out because obviously it would I don't know. Main issue for me is the consistency of it, in that it feels really bad to have wildly varying stats at the end of it. Could work. Like, I could see that being somewhat intuitive, but it's like next to impossible to I could also see this being this isn't a bad thing necessarily, but I could see this working against it if you have plague 1 second before death. You die, spread plague, revive, have plague again, and spread it again on death. But yeah, I guess that would just be like a standard counter in that sense. Yeah, I'll think about that. I'll write that in here as well. Suppose it would solve some issues, or presumed issues, where you just get your Phobos at half HP. It's not a bad concept. And you can still preserve the zombification type thing too, insofar as like it's a little bit more of a stretch, I guess. But the idea is that like it will return, you know, material stuff, but does it really return one's consciousness? Is that even possible scientifically? Some questions to be asked. So. Let's build this debug. Yeah, well, that's kind of the kicker on a technical side is somehow figuring out yeah. Yeah, somehow figuring out exactly what its status was 1 second before death, because you have to log status every tick, basically. So would be very non-performant, I would say. The other thing too is that like, what if a unit doesn't? What if a unit dies before Lazarus Agent has been applied to it for more than 1 second? Like I cast it as a unit is dying, or right before a unit dies. I could imagine a ton of edge cases there where, like, I guess the unit would just revive with full health, or would it revive with the health it had when Lazarus Agent was applied to it? I guess that would be a workaround. Yeah, that could be it. No, no, no. We're not trying to think of like, we're not trying to debuff the unit. We're trying to apply. I guess what you're saying, Beaver, is that as an alternative to any of this stuff, you just reset them to full or something like that, or keep the 50% and then reduce their, like give them a temporary like time travel or revival debuff. But yeah, I think starting off the yeah, I was also thinking of an incubation time of at least 1 second. I don't know. I will have to think. Yeah. This is probably something I should document in the Trello page. Oh, fuck. Just leave this for now. Yeah, I don't want to have any real delineation between the units because that doesn't really solve the issue. If you think about, like, there are some mechanical units that have less HP than some biological units. So, like, there's some Protoss units or some, like, tier 2 Terran bio that have pretty reasonable HP values, like pretty sturdy HP values. For example, the Heracles is probably one of the highest ones with 120. That's obviously more HP than something like a Vulture or a Southpaw or a Cyclops. It's almost as much as a Phalanx. And 5 less than a Goliath. Yeah, so, like, it's not a... Okay. Well, then. It's a bit of a... I thought I was going to work on my map today, but it's been a couple of developments. So I will return. When will I return? Well, I don't want to do that. I will return sometime soon. I would imagine tomorrow we'll smash out some more work, probably mostly focused on the map, and we'll see what else we can come up with conceptually. Pretty productive stream, though. Revised a ton of concepts. I think improved the health of a lot of the interactions, and we just have to figure out what else is next, essentially. So go ahead and commit you. Okay. So yeah, there you go. That's that. See you later, homies. Thanks for everything. Big kisses. Mwah. Bye.